Good morning. Hi there. Would you like to join me inside? Looks like it's going to rain out here. I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to fix that door as well today. That's driving me crazy. Right, enough of that. Follow me inside. So, what do I have in store today for work? Well, definitely that front door, that's got to be sorted today. I've got some repair work upstairs to do. I've got to carry on with the insulation, the silver insulation, although my stapler has given up the ghost. I need to look at that and get that repaired, or carry on just using battens and screws. So yeah, that's enough to be kicking off with. So yeah, quick tidy up and I'll see you upstairs. So while the dust settles, we'll head on upstairs. It really is worth, at the beginning of every sort of work day, have a tidy up, get rid of all those trip hazards. It really is worth the extra time and it's much safer, so yeah. Okay, let's go upstairs. See you up there. Right, let's turn the lights on. Ta-da! So we're going to continue doing the insulation. We're going to pick up from the last video and just continue to batten out underneath. Now normally I'd, like I said previously, bring it nice and tight, do some fixings with your screws, so if you need to adjust you can unscrew them. Bear in mind some of these insulations have got like a woven membrane in between, so that can become tricky when you put screws in. So normally just tack the first few so I can, readjust, and then after that, if you get a nail gun, not a hammer and nail because you'll dislodge these old roofs, I just put a few tacks in and then a stapler in between. So okay, I'm going to work over to the right here, and it just really is an easy task to do. We're allowing some overhang at the top here. Now we'll do the same there as well. What you try to do with this is keep as many, well, the joints to a minimum really. So okay, so we've got the batten up there like that. Pop a couple of screws in top and bottom. Yep, and it's as simple as that. So just work from the middle out with your battens, and then when you come to the end, if there's any excess, you can unscrew that one, pull it taut, and then fix it again. Not going to go right into the wall because there's plenty of repairs around here I've got to do. So we'll start from there, we'll work our way across there, same with that side, that way, and after that we'll work over to the other side. That's it. And like I say before, we'll work to the right now. Any excess can be adjusted at that end. Brilliant. Feels cooler already. Ideally it's a two-person job. You can do it on your own. It takes a little bit longer and you have to think of other methods to be at both ends at the same time. But yeah, if someone's down that end keeping it taut, it's much quicker, but I don't mind. I've worked for years on my own, so you work out techniques. This is a great system because any water leaks in from above. If you overlap, start from the bottom, and each one as you go up you overlap, any moisture and water that comes in will just run down, go into the wall, and if you've got a damp proof on the inside membrane, it will just slowly evaporate out to the front of the house. The big problem that people do with these sort of old properties, they seal them all up. Any moisture gets in, can't get out, so you have to think about ventilation. I'm going to put a mechanical ventilation system in, and yeah, just make sure that the walls that do get maybe possibly wet can breathe outwards. If you cement render these buildings on the outside, they don't breathe properly, and it can over the years damage the stonework. So unfortunately there's been lots of repairs on this where they've used cement to do the pointing, but hey ho, that's what they done back in the not too distant future. But yeah, lime is the way to go with these old properties. Okay, let's get down to that end. So as explained, when you work from this side and come down to the end, you get the overhang there. So unscrew this one, pull that taut, reattach, and then you're at the right length for what you need. Okay, let's get that done. Perfect. So now when it comes to attaching this last one on, I can infill here with my lime mortar, and then afterwards stick a batten in there, and then that will be finished. So what I really like about this system is A, if it gets wet it's not a problem, it will just drip off down into the wall and evaporate out. It also allows us to build another sort of like a stud work box, and then the dwarf wall down to the bottom of the floor. Now we can pack that full of insulation, which is great news. I'm going to probably aim for a minimum of 100mm, 4 inches, and I'll probably close it right off from purlin to purlin. I mean, they're not particularly pretty, and by bringing it out that much more, I'm going to be able to pack it full of insulation. So yeah, it takes up no space, it's very easy to put up, it's lightweight, you can do it on your own, there's no mess. You've got no fibres to breathe in or anything like that. And it reflects that sunlight the other way. You don't want it penetrating inside because these places become unbearable if they're too hot. Onto that side. So same procedure again, we're going to start off there and work out that way this time. Now if you do have, let's have a closer look here. If you do have big holes here on your roof, where your roof joins the wall, not too bad here, you can put like a mesh to stop those little critters and bugs getting in. So when I do eventually take this part of the roof off, I'm going to put a membrane. I'm going to address any issues like that. If need be, treat the timbers that side as well. So yeah, I may put in a mesh across the bottom there, because in my cottage every night I go to sleep, or most nights, I have a tap dancing mouse behind my headboard. There's the other side of the wall, there's a void there, but yeah, he gets in and out, and he has a little dance which is very soothing, gets me asleep every time. So here is the specification label for the insulation I'm using. This roll covers 15 square meters. It deflects 50% of the heat out or in, depending on what side you are. And there's just a table of the performance. Thermal, it's pretty good, 3. Yep, space saving, 4. 5. Flexible, very flexible. Tear resistant, 2. Doesn't matter too much because it's all being battened out. And there's just the material, or the equipment that you need to put the material up. So yeah, very good product, and as it states here, reflects both sides, winter and summer. So as the insulation upstairs is pretty much a repetitive process, I'm not going to film any more of that today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the front door because that really is winding me up. It's just so awkward to get in and out when you've got materials and things like that, so I'm going to rip it out right now. So yeah, going to put it back on but put another frame in. It's only a temporary measure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the lintel, which is the wooden section above the door. That's going to be raised so I can actually buy a door that sort of fits, because these are very, very low in these old houses. So yeah, just for now we're going to put another frame in just so it functions really. So yeah, right, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this. At long last, it's off. Now I can have a proper look at it. Yeah, it's just one of those things you use every day and it does wind you up. In and out, in and out. Always something more important to do. I can see now that the exterior wooden lintel is quite a bit lower, as you can see. There's a recess here with the stone, as they always have. There's an interesting hole here, if you can see that. Now that would have been from an ancient door and a chute bolt would have gone into that hole there. So that's an indication of its age, very old. Yeah, this has been done probably 50 years ago. That hole there in the wooden lintel, which is this one. Now what that would have been the spigot hole for the top of the door. The door would have sat in there, and a lot of the time had a hole in the bottom here as well for a metal hinge. Now I've got an illustration of this next door, let me show you. So the building to the left, which is also a lovely old barn as well. This is ancient, this one. It's had a roof done in the last 100 years. Now just here, if I just open the door, can you see what I mean? There would have been either a metal fitting into the hole, or sometimes, depending on how old they are, just a wooden post off the door straight into the hole into the stone. So yeah, that's how that would have operated, in that stone there. Yeah, very, very old, this one. And then once again on the door next to it, if you look up there, you can see what would have been the hole for the door there in the lintel. Not sure whether my camera's showing it very good. But yeah, that's how these doors would originally operated. Now while I'm here, I might as well show you these, look. Every year we get masses and masses of grapes. Sometimes we have a few of them, but generally speaking we don't. Now this has gone wild, this one. Now there is a window opening behind there, and that is hundreds and hundreds of years old. I don't know whether you can see it, but there's a wrought iron hand forged grille over the window. No glass, just a grille. You weren't getting out, you weren't getting in. Okay, right, let's get back to our door frame. Right, gonna need some timber. Firstly I'm gonna knock this off, I think. Yeah, without damaging the stone. There's a little bit of damage here. Now that has come primarily from that problematic roof over the last few years. Anyway, we can sort that out, it's not an issue. Like I say, that lintel there, I'm going to raise it up several courses so I can get a decent sized front door on there. At the moment it's just too low. Now I think on close inspection, before I put a temporary timber over here to hang the door off, there's quite a void there. Now this is the stone that's supporting the wooden lintel above, so it's that one there. Now I think it's going to be beneficial before I, like I say, put a temporary door frame over there, is to fill that up with some lime and some stonework just to stabilise this stone. Yeah, okay. I think maybe over the years it's probably washed out the infill, so I'm going to knock some lime render up. We're going to plug that up with some rocks and some lime. So as often is the way with these old buildings, you know, you do like a 15-20 minute job and it turns into a little bit longer, but hey, it's got to be done. I'd like to get that one sort of more secure, because once I start pulling these lintels out above, I want the stonework to be very, very secure and solid. So yeah, we're going to get some lime in there, and then the more I look, the more I see. And there's another gap there. Well, that wall has kind of come away from the main wall, so that was all the work that I'd done the other side in the barn. Yeah, a little bit more there. Maybe I'll take that off as well, we'll see. First off, let's get that filled up, and that can be set in. After all, I haven't got a door, not yet. So I've just mixed up the lime and sand mix dry, and then I'll pour it into another bucket and add water to it. That way I don't waste any. Now the more I look at this, the more concern it raises. So these stones here, that one's not too bad. I think that's a whole stone. Yeah, it is. It's a whole stone, so that's fairly secure. But the one on top is rather a narrow stone. Now when you look round this side, it's come away underneath there and down here. Yeah, that's busting away, so that's quite hollow in there. I think I'm going to have to, oops, yeah, well, yeah, that's not good. There's no way I can start, not that I intend to do it just yet, but there's no way I can touch that lintel yet until these stones here have been pointed up and made secure. Okay, one job often leads to another. Well, anyway, I'm going to fill this up, this void here, clean that out, fill that up with the lime and some hardcore. Then, yeah, maybe start removing this. Wow, that's quite dodgy. Gingerly take that out. Right, okay. Well, it needs doing, that's for sure. That can stay in there, but the dirt can come out. Yeah. Moist that down as well, all the dust off. Slowly build up to that level again to support this and that. Not touching that yet, so I'll caught this just in time. Just helps it not to dry out too quick. It's dust free now. The hole is now plugged. Got a nice solid brick in there as well. Pointed it, well, not pointed it, but make sure it was nice and tight in there. Now what that'll allow me to do is when this comes off, I can get the rest from above, fill it up with lime mortar, and once that's set, I shall deal with the pointing out here just to secure this stone here, so that when this goes up a few courses, this will not move. So yeah, I'm glad I addressed this issue. Whether or not I'll get the door on is another matter. So you'll have to join me in the next video. See you in the next video. Bye for now.